Everyone, welcome to Market Insight for the week of September 8th through the 22nd. Taking a look at the monthly, which we always do first in our top-down approach. And the monthly continues to be positive. It will continue to be positive unless we start closing down below the August high there of 43.27 and a half. And we'd be doing that on the weekly and daily time frames, and that would signal that the monthly was in trouble. And so until that occurs, if that occurs, we can think of the monthly to be in a trading range with the top of the range at the April 22 high. It's back over in here, right? Actually, we went a little higher to 46.34 and a half. I think the April high was 41 and change. And the August high to the downside at 43.27 and a half. So we're in that trading range, and until it exits, I'm anticipating it'll exit to the upside, but until it exits one way or the other, we're still in a trading range on this time frame. On the weekly, weekly's been in an up move for a few weeks here. We can see the lifting of supports, right? Bullish indication, but it hasn't been especially strong. This looks more like congestion than it does trending, doesn't it? At least the last 3 weeks here with a lot of price bar overlap. And the underside of this demand line here is providing resistance. This demand line is drawn off of the March lows. It was broken last month, and now it's providing resistance as we come back up to the underneath of it. And then the weekly reacted off of this resistance on Friday and headed down on Friday with some increased volume. The increased volumes, suggest that we're going to see more downside next week. And if that occurs, the likely target would be the August 22 high down here on the weekly basis, right? And then if we were to break that level, 43.27 here, then the next logical support level would be where we have a confluence of lines intersecting, this larger demand line coming up, and then the horizontal line from 4,250. So that would likely be good, strong support, but also likely take some time to accomplish if we come down to that level. Anyway, that's probably getting ahead of ourselves. Let's take a quick look at the daily. On the daily, we had an upthrust into the pocket area of the prior swing high and resistance. Frankly, this was a bit of a surprise. I was looking for the market to push up higher before reacting, but it reacted. And it did so on increased volume, and the range widened to the downside. Now, the last time we were in this area was back in late August. And at the end of August, we had shortening of thrust, pretty sustained volume, and then a reaction on increased volume. So when we compare the price action of late August with Friday's reaction, we can clearly see the supply, right? We can see the selling coming in. And also note that there's a fair amount of volume down in this area here as well. So it wouldn't be a surprise to me to see the market at least come down to this level to test that spot. If it does and it's a successful test, then that would be a higher level last point of support and a potential push up and out of there. But it's also possible that the demand line holds on Monday and we rally back up. Kind of like what we did back, I think this was August 25th. And so that's just something to be aware of. I think more likely we're going to see a push down to test that 44.34 area. and maybe go lower back down to the August highs. But if we were to come down to the August highs, it would be bearish on the daily and weekly charts, but it could potentially set the stage for a higher time frame monthly rally, because we'd be coming down to the bottom of that trading range, right? And that would be bullish, perhaps into the end of the year. And I don't know that any of this stuff is going to unfold in that way. I'm just trying to think ahead a little bit about what might happen in the context of the interplay, between the multiple time frames, where we are in the market and where we are, seasonally. There's a drive for typical bullishness into the end of the year. So would it surprise me that we would consolidate in here through August and then into November, December, start to see a rally up? No. And that's what I'm kind of outlining here. But again, at this point, it's just a fantasy that not illogical, right? There's logic behind it, but it doesn't mean that it's going to happen. It's just an idea that might happen and something to be aware of. All right, let's take a quick look at the major indices here, the major markets. They all have a similar look, and the NASDAQ continues to be the weakest. It's the closest. It's also, by the way, the closest to support, right, compared to the other two. So the NAS came down greater than either of these two markets did. The Dow stronger, right? As I think I've probably mentioned in the past, I always kind of think of the S&Ps as kind of 50-50 Dow and NASDAQ. I know it's not really true, but that tends to be the way that the NAS and the Dow operate on the S&Ps. So it's kind of like that middle way or middle ground market between the two. So we are right near support here. So this is going to be the market to watch. If it breaks its support, I think this is September 7th here, the September 7th support, and starts trading down, it's going to drag the other markets right along with it. Yeah, and if somehow it decides now we're not going to go down, we want to spring this, and starts to rally back up, comes back up across the top of its supply line, and so on and so forth, then that would be a constructive pull to the other markets and pull to the upside. But I would say that the odds favor the downside. But we just want to be open and prepared for whatever the market does. Okay. All right. This coming week, we've got some things on membership. We always have deep practice on Thursdays, and we're on our normal schedule. So we'll have deep practice on the 21st. Am I getting that date right? Yeah. And then a monthly meeting on, oh, I got these dates off, didn't I? Yeah, the monthly meeting, I think, is on the 18th. I got to pull up my schedule quickly. Oh, for God's sakes. We're going to have to cancel this. Son of a bitch. Okay, it's the 18th. Fine.